Hello guys. Okay, I'm making this video for people that are wanting to leave the organization of Jehovah's Witnesses, but maybe are scared to do so. Believe me, I understand, and anybody that is an ex-JW will tell you that they understand you. It's not easy to leave a cult. It's not easy to leave a mind-controlling organization, whether it's Jehovah's Witnesses or any other cult, any other mind-controlling organization. However, it's possible. And by the way, if you've heard from witnesses that once you leave the organization, Jehovah is, letting you down and all kind of bad things are going to happen to you, that's a big fat lie. Nothing of the sort is going to happen to you. Nothing bad is going to happen to you because you leave an organization that pretends to call itself an organization of God, but which is not. By the way, you don't believe me that this is not Jehovah's organization, that this is not true God's organization? Well, this is from the mouth of Gregory Jackson, which is one of the members of the governing body. In court, in the Royal Court of Australia, when the lawyer asked Gregory Jackson, member of Jehovah's Witnesses organization, you see yourself as Jehovah, God's people on earth, don't you? He answers, well, that I think would seem to be quite presumptuous to say that we are the only spokesperson that God is using. Now, if I was still one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and I hear one of the 7 governing body members say this in front of a lawyer in a court that's on TV, that the whole world is going to see, he's telling that lawyer that it would be quite presumptuous to say that they are the only spokesperson that God is using. So that first of all, that tells you 3 things. The first one is lying in court, because they do think they are God's people. So he's lying because he's answering that, well, that would be quite presumptuous to say that we are the only spoken person that God is using. Secondly, that tells you that, well, maybe after all, they don't believe that they are the only people that God is using. That's pretty heavy too. And thirdly, that also tells you, well, maybe he's ashamed of his own religion. He's ashamed of his own belief. He's afraid of the world. Apparently, that would be the third, potential reason why he's saying such a thing. So either one. The first one it is a liar, because I know they do think, and they do think they are God's people. Secondly, then they may, after all, they don't really think they are God's people, God's chosen people to speak to the world. And thirdly, are they ashamed of being Jehovah's people? Either way, it's really, really bad. And it's bad news for the witnesses out there. And when you think that the whole English-speaking world can see that, and believe me, since I also speak French and Spanish, I'm spreading it as much as I can in those languages as well. As a matter of fact, I just sent an email. I don't know if you reach them, but I sent an email to my brother with questions and answers from the lawyer. I listened to that thing for about 10 minutes and I wrote word for word in English all the question and answers. They were so ridiculous. It was worth it to see, to write down the answers of Brother Jackson to the question of that lawyer. And then what I did, I translated them from English to French and sent it to my brother. And, I was very quiet for 10 years. I have not done anything of the sort, but really, I'm so disgusted by the shunning thing. I really, I'm not going to take this anymore. Silence, 10 years, didn't work. I was quiet for 10 years, didn't work. So now I'm very active. I'm active here on YouTube. I'm becoming active on Facebook. And I'm active in poking those witnesses. Already sent a letter. And by the way, yes, I'm going to make this video reading you the letter. I already sent a letter to an elder here in France. And I'm going to poke my brother every so often with an email. My guess is, even if he doesn't reply to me, he may still be reading the emails. So anyway, that's worth it to go ahead and send it. And I wanted to conclude this video with this. It's a quotation that's found in Crisis of Conscience, the book from Ray France, who left and also was disfellowshipped, but anyway, who left the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses in 1980. And the quote is not from him, it's a quote from someone else that he uses in his book. And it says this: "The mind which renounces now and forever a futile hope has its compensation in ever-growing calm." So if you think that bad things are going to happen to you, it's the other way around. It's totally the other way around. Your mind is going to find some peace. You are going to be more calm, happier. It happened to me. I was depressed at least 9 years out of the 11 years that I sat in those kingdom halls. And believe me, I went through 5 congregations and 3 different languages. So that was not the language, was not the congregation. I was in 2 English congregations. I was in a Spanish congregation. I was in a French congregation. And I ended in a Korean congregation. Different cultures, different languages, different part of the country in the United States. Same thing. I was depressed for about 9 years out of those 11 years. The 2 first years where I spent time in my first congregation was the only time, and still there were some hiccups, but overall it was my best congregation, I have to say. But everything else could have lived without it. So let me repeat to you again this quote: "The mind which renounces now and forever a futile hope," which is the hope that you have right now according to Jehovah's Witnesses organization, "has its compensation in ever-growing calm." Once you leave the organization of Jehovah's Witnesses, you are leaving that futile hope. And your calmness, your happiness, your joy, it's going to grow. Believe me. So, I'm going to leave you now. In the meantime, like the video if you liked it. Leave comments. I love to read your comments. Always reply to all the comments. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.